List Attack with you once again. Another kind of funky category here. Mm-hmm. Today, we are talking about the most concise game that we have played, or the best concise game that we have played. Now, these are games that a lot of the games we play, they're kind of proof of concept for a larger title. You know, this is one level for a platformer that could be a lot bigger. Or this is, 15 minutes of a shmup.
Right.
That could be a lot bigger than this.
Totally.
These games are the entire needed experience you have in a short amount of time.
Yes.
This is not a game that's intended to be hours long. This is a game that is intended to be 15 minutes long and takes advantage of being a short game.
Exactly. It's tailored, and the best thing that you get out of a tailored experience is that it can pack all the punches that it has right there. Boom, 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 10 to 15 minutes for most all of these games. So, the list begins for our nominees with Overpowered.
It continues with Titan Souls.
And Petrichor.
Advances from Petrichor to Hop Slide.
And then we shimmy on down to Milk Party Palace.
And the winner for the bestest concise game experience is Hop Slide.
Woo.
Now, this is when we really vacillate along on this. And there may be some that are not nominated in this category for other reasons.
Yes, for reasons
that we actually really liked.
Yes, exactly.
But the reason Hop Slide is winning this is because, as we said, this is about doing a cool experience in a short amount of time. Hop Slide has some of the most mind-bending puzzles I have seen in recent memory in a game.
Period.
For a
Ludum Dare.
Not just indie games.
Yeah.
Not just Ludum Dare games, not just indie games. Video games, period.
Right.
And part of that is, not a lot of games can really interact with the outside world in the way that this game does.
It's very specific and very unique.
This is the kind of thing where, we said this a few times when we were doing the video of, a game has challenged your perception when you did not think it was possible to do what they are doing with a puzzle.
Exactly. Like, not just that, you're like, I don't think my jump can reach there, or something like that. No, it's more like, oh, games can do that?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I didn't think programming worked like that. What alchemy has been used to create this?
Yeah, it was definitely digital wizardry by our homeboy, Daniel, and
this is a game you definitely need to go try this and actually try to solve the puzzles on your own.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the best instances of when you get what you're supposed to do, that is a good feeling in this one.
It really is, because
there's actually a mental connection there to make. Like we said, it's not just, I figured out how to jump the gap the right way.
Right. It's like you feel like, I was creative, Like, I had to think of something...
It makes you feel smart.
Exactly, and there's very few games that I can point to that have made me feel that way. There's games where I feel like I've had a hard fought,
you feel
down
good
and out,
for winning,
but you're that was hard. This, it's just it's pretty much just the gravy, man.
Yeah, this game is the video game format of one of those ridiculously hard logic puzzles, and you figured out the logic puzzle, and that's the feeling
exactly
you get when you beat this game.
Just so good and so cool and unique, and just this guy comes up with just consistently awesome genre-bending ideas.
So we were glad to be able to... We were glad to see that he got something in all of this.
Yes, exactly. Most concise game 2014, Hop Slide.
We do have some honorable mentions here.
We do. So mine is going to be Castlemania, and basically, it's an awesome
micro-platformer.
Yeah, action platformer, and
might be based on a series that involves castles,
Vanias. Only the Mania is very different than Vania. So,
yeah. Well, you notice Castlemania, all the enemies have straitjackets on.
Right.
It's clearly intended to be a much different game.
There's a theme, people.
Yeah. Themes!
And I love this game. It was one I played it for like an hour over and over and over and over.
Great music, great sprites. It feels great to play. You know, your jump and all of your jump feels logical. Your attacks feel nice and fleshed out. You know, it feels good, and that's hard to do.
And not overly punishing either. So damn it.
And my honorable mention,
yeah,
is gonna come from Loco Molito, and that is gonna be La Valle de Mortes. Mortis. This was a short, like, puzzle exploration game. There's no fighting in it. And,
quite the opposite.
Yeah, you're a monk, you don't fight. You gotta
run.
find a bunch of crosses, and you fight Satan, I guess, the best final boss.
Right. Avoid the Inquisition.
And it was just a fun game, because the puzzles were nice and creative, and, you know, for the harder ones, there were hints, you know, like, hey, there's an invisible platform in one part, and you get a hint somewhere else that tells you to take a leap of faith by the bridge.
Right.
Yeah. And, you know, when there are fights, they're kind of solved in creative little ways, where it's more about dodging and getting to the end of the area than it actually is about fighting. And, you know, as we said, it's a nice, again, it's a concise experience. It's, you know, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe to play all of this.
Right.
If you're testing everything out.
Right. Mastery.
But it's still difficult and satisfying.
Yeah, it's a cool game. It's very unique. It's fun and unique and concise.
And it manages to knock out, like, being a ZX Spectrum.
Right, yeah,
thing.
the look alone and sound of this game is like it's so like
it's one of the few games we've played that, because a lot of games attempt to recreate a certain style. Right. This sticks to the rules of its style.
Yeah, it definitely and it shows how awesome that style is. You know, reminds you like, hey, remember this stuff? And yeah.
So that is gonna wrap up the most concise game, and we're gonna be back tomorrow with our final episode for Game of the Year.
Dun dun dun.